I got my AK racing chair.
And I haven't seen a picture of it yet, so I'm kind of upset.
I'm sitting in it. Like if you can see it, I'll stand.
You're kind of blocking the way.
It's too dark. I can't make it out.
Get your flashlight.
It's all right. Anyway, I'm sitting in it. I got a question. It come with this like cushiony bit, right? That's supposed to sit in like the bottom of the chair.
Yeah.
Like, is that just meant for like people so you can sit closer to the edge? Like, is it just meant to like?
It's meant for lumbar support. It's not meant to go right down your ass. It's meant to go kind of in the middle of the back.
Yeah, but I tried putting it in and I just didn't like the way it sat. You know?
Well,
That's from your years of not having lumbar support.
Yeah, maybe. Do you use it?
I do.
Do you not find it weird?
Does your lumbar feel supported?
It does. It
I don't
feels
even know what my
wonderfully
fucking
supported.
lumbar is.
It's your back.
That's my back. My whole back's called
I think
my
it's
lumbar.
the curvature of your back.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I generally just lean forward most of the time. I'm sitting at my deck.
And that's why you look like Quasimodo.
Do you sit straight back on yours when you're using it? Like legit lean back against it at all points?
It depends what I'm doing. When I'm flying, I don't sit all the way back. But like when I'm relaxing or playing other games, yeah.
In-flight simulators he's talking about.
Well, yeah. All right. So to be fair, if I'm on my PC, I'm leaning forward kind of because I'm like I'm over my keyboard.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm looking at my TV in it, or like playing a console game or watching a movie in it, like I was doing last night, I'm obviously leaning all the way back. I'm comfy. Blah 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 blah. So it's a combination. But you can grab the side thing and bring the back part really fucking close.
Yeah.
You know, like bring it all the way over your back and be like, oh, I'm really enclosed. And what I discovered last night, really nearly to the demise of my television, was you can also make it go all the fucking way backwards.
Yeah. I can't do it. It just doesn't feel stable for me. I don't trust it.
I'm like, okay, they should really put a warning. Yes, it will go like full 90 degrees sideways. You can lay down and chillax on this thing. Because I was like, wonder how far this can fucking go. There you go. That's I got a comfy chair. I feel like my back's getting a lot better.
What sort of rating would you give it?
Hashtags Nick Mini review 8.5.
I don't know if that's going to get us a sponsorship now.
10 out of 10. I mean, 10 out of 10. I mean, it is the best chair I've owned, so I don't know why I don't just give it a 10.
Yeah.
But to be fair, every chair I've had before this is like a less than $50 like Officeworks, you know, cheapy shit computer chair. So the competition to compare it to being grand. It was fucking annoying though, because I had, before I left the other week to go on my holidays to Brisbane, I kept tracking it because I was leaving on Wednesday, and it was like on its way, and I knew the tracking. I've been waiting a couple of weeks, and I'm like, I bet you anything Wednesday I get a fucking message saying it's arrived. Wednesday I arrive in Brisbane at whatever time, and then like I get an email at like 11:30, your order has arrived. I'm like, fuck's sake. Of course it fucking has. Of course it has. All right, Nick, I need to know the rest of this Stream Deck story. Explain from the start. You started it before we started recording. Go again. Give everyone.
Yesterday we cleaned out the garage and I took out a bunch of DVDs and games and boxes that I've had since we moved in. And then as I was packing it into shelves, there was a lot of games I realised I either had copies of on the PC or I got digital copies of, so I traded all them in today, and I got about $180 worth.
I need like an estimate on copies, because that's the thing.
Yeah, how many games?
That's a lot of games.
That's 300 games.
No.
Probably.
It was about, I don't know, maybe 20 games.
For $180 for 20 games, that is good trade.
I traded in Skyrim VR and I got $25 for that one.
Really?
Yeah.
All those copies of Destiny traded back in?
No, I don't have any copies of Destiny other than the copy that I already own. And so I already had $50 down on the collector's edition of the Spider-Man game that I missed out on. So I just cancelled that, got the Stream Deck, and then put the remaining 25 down back on Spider-Man.
Oh, it's a whole back and forth dealio. I've never seen Stream Decks at EB Games. I've only ever seen them in JB Hi-Fi. Didn't know they dealed in. Have you got a chance to play with it yet?
I haven't got it because they didn't have it in store. They're delivering it to
you're getting
house.
it.
We saw one at the EB Games the other day.
Oh, that's right, we did. Yeah, okay, that's right. Okay, so to clarify, none of my local EB games I've seen Elgato.
They don't ship to
products in.
Tasmania.
They do not exist in Tasmania, is the thing.
Customs.
That is funny. That is a legit thing that happened. We're standing at the counter and Ash is like, Elgato.
Just sell them everywhere now.
Yeah, apparently. I really didn't want to get one because...
The biggest thing for me, because like at the moment I only stream once a week, but it's all the implications and practicality. You can use it outside of streaming as well.
Yeah, all right. Explain.
Like
what do you think you're going to use it for?
I don't know. I'll find uses. But I was watching
You
a
can
video
set up
today.
cameras around your house, and then you can push the button to bring up which camera you want to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like I was watching a video today of a guy that does video producing, and he's got all these different functions set up on his Elgato Stream Deck to like do things to do with, I don't know, I don't do video production, but you can use it for that kind of stuff. Because I think he said he got rid of like 4 or 5 like different keyboards he had set up himself with macros and stuff, and he was able to incorporate all that into his Stream Deck.
Yeah, I guess that would cut down your editing time on certain...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
all the shortcuts and stuff.
yeah, you can stack folders and folders, so infinite, really, what you can do on it.
I've always wondered if it is actually infinite because I know like some streamers like Barjo have 2. So I'm always like, why?
Because there's
'Cause he
3
can.
rows of 5, and each one of those you can set up to be a folder, and then you can set up folders inside that, so you can pretty much go infinitely down.
So why would you want 2?
Quicker access.
I suppose if really quickly, so you don't want it set up in folders and folders.
Mm.
Either that, he got one for free, maybe, being an
Most likely.
influencer or whatever.
I mean, probably, but he's still using both. Like,
Yeah.
It's.
Well, if
It's
you've
an
got the
easy
option to use both, you'd use both, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I suppose so. I just want one because I think it would just make life easier when I'm doing the reacts or the review discussions or
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. Just
Yeah.
the much easier switching back and forth between the different slides and the camera setups and whatever else. Like basically use it as a production board, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then I could set up things like I could actually set up things like have people's Twitter names come up like 10 seconds into show or whatever, like have
Yeah.
that sort of stuff pop up on the screen. So you could just use it to run.
You can
that stuff
also
more
set
production
buttons.
like.
You can also set buttons up that link to your Twitter as well. That send out a tweet and stuff to say whatever.
Yeah, I saw they said like you can just press something and it'll just like auto tweet out a highlight and whatever else. Handy fandy thing to have. But how much? What did you pay RRP or did they have it?
Yeah,
like
it was
cheaper?
RRP.
Which is like $200.
Yeah, it was $199.
Yeah.
Bargain.
You've got everything Elgato now, don't you? Apart
No.
from a cam link.
I don't have a cam link or a capture card.
Or a green screen.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, no.
I do
you
have
Oh,
a
he's got the green screen.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. He's got a green screen. He's got a thing. He doesn't have like the basic Elgato thing, which is a capture card.
Well, I don't need it. I can't remember. The last time I turned on the console was to play God of War.
Well, you still might need. You might need one. Go back to Mario Kart one day or something.
No.
Nah, never.
I'll get one
What
day when I find a bunch of other games I can trade in.
I wonder
It's going to
how
be really hard
dirty-
because you don't buy any physical ones anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's really annoying now.
I do because I usually do that too. Like, usually after E3, I've got like a thing every year. It's like usually after E3, like a bunch of new games are announced and whatever, and I'm like, I want to pre-order all these things, or like some games get announced where I'm like, they're going to have cool collector's editions announced within the next couple of months. I want to put down at least $10 on that, so I get that like first dibs at the collector's editions.
Yep.
So I usually go through like all my games from the previous 12 months, grab a bunch, go in and go $10 on this, because none of them like have collector's editions yet.
Well, last
Do
time I
that.
traded stuff in, like, I got the PS4 Pro, like, I traded in my PS3 and then a bunch of games, and I got practically, I didn't spend any cash on the PS4 Pro. And all the games that I kept from that round was mainly sentimentality and games I'd want to play again, but at that point, I didn't have my PC, so I didn't exactly really know what was in my Steam library and stuff. And so a lot of the games I traded in today, like I traded in 2 copies of Skyrim, which I've got that on the Switch now, and I can play it on PC. And like
You've got it fucking everywhere, like they want you to.
almost,
Yeah.
not anymore. But yeah, like so a lot of them, like I traded in, I have digital copies of, or like I traded in Mad Max, which I had, but now we've got it for PS Plus. So a lot of games like that I traded in.
Yeah. The last big trade in I did was when I got my Switch.
Yeah.
Well, which I traded them like my Wii U and all my Wii U games and like accessories and all this sort of shit. It's just like go in. It's like, here's all these like third party nunchucks and whatever else. Like, do you take this? Maybe. Like, I don't know. Here it is. The fucking sensor bars and all. It was just a whole bunch of fuckery. I've seen people, I hate to be that guy though, like, because I've seen people walk in with basically, you know, they've like, I've hired help to help me carry crates worth of shit that I'm
Yeah, that's
about
pretty
to
much
carry.
what
Got
happened
every
last
single
time.
amiibo in Skylander.
Can you trade in
Basi-
amiibos and Skylanders?
They sell secondhand ones, so I assume so.
No, I had
Yeah,
no
you
idea.
used to be able to trade in all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
might
I
'cause
don't
I-
reckon they'll take Skylanders anymore.
Last time that I traded in, I had Stacey bring it in. I had like 3 or 4 like those reusable shopping bags and
Jeez.
Yeah.
a couple of like Guitar Hero guitars and stuff that I traded in.
Yeah, they'll probably still. Yeah, they'll still do amiibos. I remember that when Skylanders was really big. I remember all the time being in there, and like kids would come in, and they'd be like, they'd ask the dude because it used to just be things like, "Can I see your secondhand tray?" Like they'd pull it out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
and they would just have like all the loose figures, and then the price would be on the bottom of it, like a little sticker
Yep.
saying like
Yeah.
$4 or $2 or.
The only ones that I ever remember seeing is they're in the plastic bag, but it's like the base set with the dock and stuff in it.
No, they
Yeah.
they definitely had the secondhand ones. My little brother was into them.
Yeah.
So
They did Lego Dimensions as well. Probably they probably
Probably.
did all of it. I just assume they don't take anything now that's not still being made
yeah.
because it's probably just like loss of
No,
money.
they probably I'm maybe like 25 cents a piece.
25 cents for a Skylanders figure.
Yeah.
Is
I tried-
Skylanders still going?
No, it's canned.
Ah,
I was
Is it?
gonna- wait,
Or-
hold on. No, it's still going, but I suppose the like really
I
old
don't
sets
think there's
wouldn't-
been another release since the one with Crash in it. The Imaginators one.
Yeah.
that isn't that old though, is
I
it?
think maybe
No,
they're doing a
it's-
mobile app or something. I don't know.
They're probably doing a fucking mobile. Well, Disney Infinity's canned. Lego Dimensions is definitely
Yeah, I knew
canned.
those
Skylanders, I'm just assuming's canned because everything else is fucking canned.
What happened to that the spaceship game with you put
Yeah,
it on
what
the
the fuck
controller?
happened? I remember that. That was
Yeah.
announced at like E3 like a year or two ago.
No,
They
last year
realised
I
it was
remember
gonna get canned.
we reacted to it.
Oh, we did it. Oh, that's right, we did too. And it was probably like,
We said, "What the hell
Why?
is this?"
yeah, it's like, oh, another Toys to Life game. Brilliant. Not like the other
Right
ones
when
are
the
struggling.
market is booming.
Yeah. This is before they even like canned Lego Dimensions and everything.
Yeah.
That's it. Lego Dimensions and Disney Infinity being canned are like legit things I was sad about. I wanted that. I really like that. I like the idea of Toys to Life.
I held off on Lego Dimensions because there wasn't any properties I was interested in. But the moment they had Star Wars or Marvel, I would have gone balls deep.
Well, I remember when it was announced, I had such high hopes that it was just going to replace the normal Lego games eventually. Like,
Yeah.
I was hoping that over time it would just evolve to the stage where, you know, instead of the Lego Force Awakens game coming out, it would come out as a Dimension thing where it would be
Get a bunch of
70, 80
levels.
bucks or whatever, and it would have the expansion thing and blah, blah, blah. Like they did for Fantastic Beasts
Yeah.
and Ghostbusters had the level packs and whatever, and they were like 60, 70 bucks, like full price things. And I just remember thinking, oh, this is the future. This is how Lego games. Made way more sense for the property. It's like, hey, it's a Lego game. It plays exactly like all the other Lego games. It's great. You build stuff, but at the same time, you actually have to build the stuff, and
Yeah.
it's really fun. Did you play it, Ash?
Yeah, a little bit. That's why I'm putting them together. Who
Yeah.
doesn't
Did you
enjoy
do it
doing
from the
that?
start?
What?
Did you do it from like the start, or did you play it once it was already set up?
I played once I'd already set it up.
Yeah, because one of the funniest things about the game is like once you boot it up, it's like, let's go. You open the box, you stick in a disc or whatever. It's like, and then it literally takes you like an hour the first time to build the main
The gate.
base. Yeah, the gate around it. So it's not like, oh, let's sit down and jump straight into the game. It's like, no, this thing's going to take you like an hour to build. and then you can maybe get into the game, and then you got to build the Batmobile and the whatever else you want to do. This is a real life Lego game. I've still got all my Dimension stuff, and I've still got it installed on my PlayStation because I haven't platinumed it. And I would still, if I see any, I've keep my eye open for any of the DLC expansions for cheap, because I'm still like, oh, maybe one day I'll walk into a Target, an EB or something, and I can pick up the Fantastic Beasts or Ghostbusters or whatever else expansions that I don't own, because I'd like to play them. And I don't mind owning the figures because like minifigs look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got into collecting those really expensive, like the $5-10 Lucky Dip minifig things.
No.
Remember when they were huge and they used to be on like counters at Target and all that stuff all the time?
Actually, I saw one on the back dock at work. They've done a new run of them or whatever.
Well, doesn't surprise me. I'm sure people are really into them, but they were just really expensive Lucky Dips, like too much for one minifig as well. Like,
It's a wonder they
minifigs
don't
look
do
cool,
it with
but
like Marvel and Star Wars Lego, because I reckon they'd sell fucking heaps.
must be some licensing problem or something, I suppose.
It's gambling.
But yeah, well,
Loot boxes.
yeah, well, there you go. It is funny, like random booster packs and stuff like that. Like there's no law. It is gambling, technically, but it's not. You know, It's like where's the line between gambling and Lucky Dip? Because if you pay $8 for a booster pack, I suppose it's because you're paying $8 and you know what the best you can get out of it is. Like you're just like getting cards, and like at best you get like a really rare card that's worth.
You know what at worst you're getting.
Yeah, I suppose
Which is
that's
8
true,
cards.
Yeah, I suppose. So it's like no matter what, you're getting X amount of, like on the back of the booster, it's like you're getting 16 cards in the pack or whatever. So it's like at worst you're getting 16 cards compared to gambling, which is you could put $50 down on the table and get back
Zero.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where I'm like, what is the official like law and clarification against booster pack stuff? Talking about booster pack, I brought when I was in Brisbane, I brought Star Wars Destiny. Have any of you seen this game?
Only
Star Wars
I
Destiny.
think I saw the picture you posted.
Oh,
online.
is that the dice card game thing?
Yeah, it's a dice card one.
I bought one similar. I'm not sure if it was Star Wars itself, but no, it was a Marvel one, and I didn't like it.
Was it Dice Masters?
I don't remember.
If it was Marvel, it probably was. They
Probably.
had started that thing. I've played that as well. So I brought this fun game to play, but like I brought the 2-player starter pack thing.
Yeah.
Off the bat, obviously. And then it was like the next day, I'm like, fuck, I need to track down where I could buy some boosters because I just want to, just need to buy something to open them. I forgot how fun it was because I haven't played like Magic the Gathering for so long.
Yeah.
I forgot how fun it is just to open random boosters. Get that jolt of excitement in you. A little bit of fun. Did any of you, I don't think we've ever talked about it because Nick's into. Hello, Nick. Who's trying to call you right now?
That is so weird. I'm going to leave that in.
The next flight to Brisbane is boarding in 5 minutes.
I can't remember if we ever talked about like the card game stuff.
Yep.
'Cause you used to
I
play
think we
Magic.
have
A little
Magic
bit.
and Guffs and stuff like that.
Yeah, like well, I don't think we ever. I can't remember.
Let's do it anyway.
Let's do it anyway.
It
'cause
was
I can't
probably
remember.
ages ago.
It was probably ages ago. What did you get into, Nick?
In regards to
Like card games and all sorts of
Magic,
stuff, or anything like that.
I was into Magic. Like, I had a friend in high school that was mad into Magic, and I got into it then. Kind of like I bought 1 or 2 decks, but he was a min maxer, like a real fucking down to like making the best deck possible, and it just wasn't fun to play with him. So I fill out then, and then just after we got married, I got into it. Like I bought fucking heaps, and then I only ended up playing with my brother. So I thought, why the fuck am I wasting my money with this? And then didn't do that again.
Yeah, buy heaps. What exactly was your
Buy
buy?
like 3 or 4 fat packs, bunch of like heaps of different stuff.
So when I was heavily into Magic in my prime, every single new set that came out, day one, I was picking up a box and 2 fat packs for every set.
Jeez. When you get into
That
something, you get into hardcore.
Yep. That is a lot of magic packs to open. Because I think there's like 36 or something packs in a box, and then each fat pack has like 9.
And I got a mint Black Lotus.
I wish. Fucking thing. Ash, did you ever get into any?
I remember Yu-Gi-Oh cards being a big deal when I was in high school.
Oh,
So we had that.
I remember when I was like in primary school, my uncle come back from like Southeast Asia somewhere and bought us a bunch of fucking Pokemon cards, but they were like stickers.
The fakes.
Yeah,
And they were
the
like
fakes.
fucking all hollow. They were fucking garbage.
There was a real stage there where I think everyone was getting ripped off and fucked by people like family members bringing back Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like all those.
They'd all
fakes
just get
and
mixed
stuff
in
like
with
that.
all the actual real ones.
Yep. What was you dueling at lunchtime, Ash?
Yeah, until someone lost a card, quotations, and then
Yeah.
and they were banned.
I think that happened at everyone's school,
Yeah,
then they got
probably.
banned.
Yeah.
So I played Pokemon in primary school, but it was like we played Pokemon cards, but no one actually understood the rules.
No.
So
yeah.
it was just
it's
of
overly complicated. Way more complicated than the actual game.
yeah. So it was just like we made up our own rules, or we just would be like, I've got a Charizard, and there's like a 16 written here. We're not sure if that's the attack, but yours says 10, so mine wins somehow. Like that's the general thing. But I think most of the kids were just collecting them. I actually had a friend who's not my friend anymore, but I remember he stole my Venusaur out of my bag, and I caught him red-handed doing it. This is like grade 1 or prep or something, like along those lines. And I remember just witnessing him doing it, and my brain's reaction was not like call out names. Like obviously I'm not swearing at this stage or anything because I'm a kid, so I'm not just like, "Oi, fuckhead!" I just like I remember staring at him and then just be like, bottom lip, and just bowling, bowling my eyes. Teacher runs over. What's wrong? He took my Venusaur. Took my Venusaur in my bag.
Yeah.
Fucking dickhead. So yeah, Pokemon was the thing was in primary school. When I got a little bit older, or towards the end of primary school, like Yu-Gi-Oh came in, and obviously Yu-Gi-Oh was a huge thing. Me and my brother got the like original starter decks, which I can't remember the fucking names of, but it's like he had the black. I think he had like the black dragon, and then one of them had the blue eyes. I think it was like the black dragon and the blue eyes dragon. And then we'd play those back and forth, but neither of us really understood the rules for that easier. Although I remember at the time being like, this is kind of easier to understand because the intro decks came with like a mat that you could lay out that kind of told you, here's where you put like cards, and it would say on the mat like face down, face up, because like the different Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and it would be like put your deck here, here's the discard pile. So it at least presented some idea of how you were
Plus, there was the
supposed to
TV show which pretty much explained how to play.
explain how to play it, which was huge, and I was obsessed with at the fucking
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
That I still like. I haven't watched any of the new series of Yu-Gi-Oh. I reckon I could go back and rewatch those first couple seasons, like Prime Yu-Gi, before they like
Went
introduce
mental.
new characters, and he's like original quest, and you got Kaiser Sosei or whatever the fuck his name is. That was really good. That was good stuff. We got the old Millennium, the Millennium Eye thing, or
Millennium
whatever.
puzzle or whatever.
Puzzle pieces and all sorts of
Exodia.
stuff. Exodia. I still own some Yu-Gi-Oh cards somewhere. I kept some. I've got all the pieces of Exodia, because they look really cool, and I just kept them because why wouldn't you? But I remember I used to play it a lot as I got older. Well, obviously not older, but like as the years progressed, and I learned how to play the game properly, and I was going to daycare centers. Everyone there played Yu-Gi-Oh! And everyone had decks. And it was basically like we would just spend the entire time between when the daycare people would actually make you do stuff like, oh, we're going to go play basketball now. And you actually had to like participate on like the basketball court by doing at least something. They're like,
Yeah.
they're paid to make you do some sort of physical exercise as a child, I guess. Or like, we're going to go do this field trip out to the park or something like that. But then the times where they're just like, oh, you do whatever you want now and you can have lunch, we're dueling. We're fucking dueling in the corner, guys. It's happening. It's going down. And I had really good deck. I had basically the one that Kaiser Sose used in the thing where he had like the knight
three
that could bring out
dragons?
I had the knight that could bring out the blue eyes white dragons, and then you had all three of them, and it would like form them into the triple headed one or some shit like that. Fusion, I can't remember it all, but it was fucking fantastic. Anyway, I died off that eventually. I remember I kept all my cards somewhere, and for some reason I separated them. Some of my really rarer ones I hid. I had a copy of the game which some of you may have heard of.
Yep.
It's a fairly obscure card game, Uno. You know, I had Harry Potter Uno, which was inside this chest. That's what it kind of came in. This chest that you could lift up, and it had like this velvet thing inside there where the cards would get placed. And it was like it looked velvet. It was really a piece of red plastic. And you could lift out the piece of plastic in the chest, and because of the way it's like functioned to have the cards like kind of lean up so they look cool when they come out, there is gap underneath it. And underneath that piece of plastic, I hid like a bunch of my really rare Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like all my Exodia pieces and all this other stuff. For some reason, as a kid when I stopped playing it, and I stored them in this chest, and that's where they stayed for years. And years passed, and I had the rest of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards like in a like a plastic container box or something like that. You just chuck them in, and that was chucked up in the wardrobe. Years and years later, I get into Magic when I don't know what age I was. I'm above 18 when I get into Magic. That's yeah. But I don't know the exact age. I started playing at a really good time though, because I got introduced to it by a friend, and we would just sit around at a dining table like pretty much every night, three of us, and we would just play like 3-player, like everyone against everyone matches, and we just had like intro decks, booster packs. We're fucking up rules left, right, and center, but we're just chucking in cards into our deck, just doing whatever. At least we're having fun. We don't really understand the rules fully. We're making mistakes. We'll soon learn, because then a couple months after we started getting into it, we find out that there's going to be a Guff/Good Games opening in Launceston, and it was like, oh, that's fucking good timing, because we just got into the game. And I remember they held their first Tuesday night Magic, and we didn't understand what it meant, because it said Tuesday night Magic standard.
Yeah.
We're like, what? Standard? Whatever. Anyway, we go in, and there were some old people there. And I mean like old, I mean like there's dudes like 50, 60 there, and they look serious. You know, they look like they're down for serious business. And I remember that first time we went in, we basically got smashed by everyone and got told that half the rules we were playing by were completely fucking wrong. But that's okay. My love for the game grew, and I continued playing it for many years, and I got better at it and got a lot more serious into it. I became the person Nick talked about, where it was like, it wasn't fun to play against, because I got really into like every tournament style deck had to be used.
I think there's a difference though. Like, you can be that person and still be fun to play against, but you can also be that person being an absolute fucking dickhead. Like, there's like most of the time, like all those nerdy hobbies, there's all the people that are absolute fucking idiots towards new people, but they don't realize that's how you get new people into the hobby.
Yeah,
you drive them away. Like,
people.
If you don't bring new blood in, you're fucking killing it.
Yeah.
Well, then you've got no challenges, and then there's nobody who can beat you.
Then you end up being one of those people that play by themselves.
Yeah.
Yes, and then you never lose.
There was anytime there would be a new player like come in, and they would always come in with a shitty deck, like on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, because how it works, it's like depends on your meta. So if the majority of the people in your local play space are trying to play really serious, then it's like everyone else steps up to the plate and starts taking it more serious. And as a whole, your level of play at your local store then gets more serious, as everyone else is just like, well, I have to take it a bit more serious, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And that's how our store kind of got. There was a couple really serious players. Everyone else kind of started getting more serious over time, more serious players, blah, blah, blah. And it just, in a whole, our casual Tuesday nights were basically everyone practicing for the next full-on fucking tournament.
Yeah.
But anytime a random kid, especially kids, I'd feel so bad. It's like, they're 12, 10, rock up with their parents, and they come in, they play, they put their $10 down for the night, $10 entry. if you come dead last, you still get a booster out of it. So you only lost $4 because a booster cost $6.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. It's fine. But they'd sit down, the mum or dad would sit down in the corner, like pull out their photo book and begin playing. And I just remember anytime a kid would sit down, and if they sat down against like several certain people who I'm like, they're just going to get like piss them off, because they'd sit down and they would, anytime they did something that was really good against a kid, they'd act like they just beat fucking Picasso or like someone amazing at the game. But yeah, because I've done this, and I'm like, you're a fuckhead. You're a complete and utter fuck. Like, I don't know why you're doing that. To wrap my Yu-Gi-Oh story, so obviously when the store opened after a year or less than a year, they got Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments running as well. They did Magic stuff first because it was Magic's the most popular. It's like, oh, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon tournaments, everything's going after time. But I remember like talking to a bunch of people who are really into Yu-Gi-Oh, and they're like, oh, this card, I'm trying to get this card. And I'm like, oh, I think I have that card somewhere. Like, oh, really? It's like worth $30, $40 if you've got it. Like, I'll buy it off you, blah, blah. I'm like, sure, I'll go home and have a look. And I'm trying to find all my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'm like digging for all these plastic drawers, like in my wardrobe and all over the place, and blah, 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 blah. Mum, remember I had like a plastic thing, like full of, like it was just full to the top of Magic cards? Oh, yeah, you're not into that. That was like years ago. Yeah, but like, where is it? I threw it out.
Ooh.
I don't condone hitting mothers, but
Don't worry, I have a similar story. We had like a
You hit your
ice
mother.
cream. No, that part never happened. But we had like an ice cream container of all like rare cards and stuff. And between the last couple of moves, it's disappeared. Don't know where it is.
Yeah. There's a certain age where your parents are like, decide you're too old for something, and
Yeah.
I'll chuck
you don't
that
need
out.
that.
You don't
There
need
it
that.
goes.
No, those cards weren't worth anything.
No, but the ones I have left, as you'll recall from my story, were the ones that were hidden in the bottom of the chest.
Okay.
They survived their little hideaway hole. I don't know why I hid them in there. It's like I knew that one day my fucking mum would try and chuck out half my cards, but like my general like commons and uncommons and like all that sort of stuff, and like my full all the basic sort of cards that were just in the plastic thing.
That's not too bad.
Thing gone. It was still
Annoying.
Parents listening, don't chuck out your children's shit
Without consulting them.
without consulting them. They're people too, They have opinions on stuff that they may or may not want to keep.
Yeah.
You never know. But I think, and then when I was heavy into card games, I think I tried out basically every new card game that came in. It would be like, oh, here's this. It's like, oh, an intro deck's like $25. All right, someone else buy it and we'll try and play it, see if it's fun. So I remember they rebooted the Dragon Ball Z game at some stage, and I played that for like a year when they re-brought that back out. Right when they put out that movie, and like the year before the new series started up, they were like, Dragon Ball Z is like popular again. Like, we're bringing out the card game, because they cancelled it for several years. So I played that for a year. That was kind of fun, but they're just such expensive hobbies. If you want to take it semi-serious. No, but it's just like, you could buy an intro. So it's like Dragon Ball Z, for instance.
Yeah.
Intro deck cost me like $25, $30, whatever it was. It's like, you could just take that and you can get a friend and you could probably play that for ages back and forth without getting bored. And then you buy a couple boosters and change up some cards and it's fun again. Like you can do that. But I'm not doing that because I'm not sitting at home around table playing it. I'm going in to try and play every Friday night with the other 10, 15 people that are
That's the problem.
playing it. Yeah. And there's half those people are spending hundreds of dollars per week to upgrade all the cards in the deck. And there is a certain stage where you're like, well, I don't want to spend that much money on this game, but at the same time, I'd like a chance to win. So then you're spending at least a little bit to try and make sure, like, you're not going to get your ass swamped. Like, you want to stand a chance.
Yeah.
So then it's like you're putting more money into it. The general rule, if you want to get into any of these games and try and take them serious, is not buy boosters at all. That is the worst thing you can do. The best thing you can do if you want to take it serious is you just buy singles.
Yeah.
The souls of all
I think there's the people that enjoy the game, and there's also people that enjoy opening boosters. But for people that enjoy the game itself, there's also card games called living card games where you buy a box and it has everything in it.
Yeah, I've got
and then
Game
you buy
of Thrones.
expansions, which is the same. Each expansion has all the same cards, and you build decks from the card pool that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which one do you play?
I haven't played. I've played the Star Wars one like a handful of times, but I was more into board games than card games.
Particular favorites?
Zombie side. Yeah, that's about it.
Huge.
But
Huge.
I'm more into like wargaming as opposed to those two.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if it's between board games and card games, it'd be board games.
Well, explain to everyone what wargaming you play and like what ones you have played, because you don't play everyone automatically jumps to 40k obviously, but you're playing like
well, that's where the vast majority of people in the past 30 years got into the hobby. But once you realise that Games Workshop gouge
shit.
you, yeah, they gouge you for fucking everything. There's like it branches off into there's other like fantasy
Hordes.
historical type games, and then there's historical games which I mostly played from anywhere from ancient to up to World War II, stuff like that.
but what's so the thing with yours, what you play that I don't really understand is like what's the name for the rule set if you want to look it up? or
Okay,
anything?
the major rule set that I personally play with my group of people is called Chain of Command, which is like a platoon-based World War II rule set. But then there's the next biggest war game after Games Workshop is arguably either Bolt Action, which is made by Warlord Games, which is essentially it plays like a Games Workshop game but set in World War II, because it's written by one of the guys that used to write 40k rule sets. And then there's the other one, which is called Flames of War, which is made by a New Zealand company, which are getting as bad with price gouging as GW, but that's one a lot of people migrate onto, which is 15mm, where Games Workshop is 28mm, and that's company based. So, like complete armies fighting on a board, stuff like that.
When you got into it, was it the general interest of the game or the painting of the figures and stuff?
It's hard to say, because when I was young, there was a computer game called Heavy Gear, and I was really into that. And then at a newsagent, they sold White Dwarf. Do they still sell that, Ash?
Yep.
Yep. So I saw one of them as a kid in the newsagents, and my mum bought it for me. And on the cover, because they were Games Workshop just released an army called Tau, and a lot of their stuff looked like the stuff out of Heavy Gear. And so that's how I got into my interest and discovered it, was finding that magazine, looking through it, thinking that, oh, that looks really cool. And then finding out there was a store in the city where I live. So then we'd go in there, and that's how I got into it. And obviously the staff were very, I wouldn't say predatory, but they're like, they know how to talk to parents and kids to get them interested and to buy stuff and just keep on buying stuff, get them invested like that way. And then it just grows from there.
Yeah.
For me now, the painting and the modelling stuff is secondary to just getting together with a bunch of friends, just shit talking and having a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know my 2SE at work still plays 40k
Yeah.
or whatever, and like I think he's approaching the stage where he's I can tell he's probably gonna jump off the cliff and get sick of it, because every time he talks about going into the store in town,
Yeah.
he just like complains about everything, the prices, the dude who works
yeah.
there, just like everything, to the point it's like, why are you even playing? Like, it's not
Exactly.
worth it. Move on. And I keep telling him, I'm like, if you want something similar, just go play Hordes or something. Like,
Yeah.
fucking
Oh,
cheap,
that's
like.
another one. The Hordes of War Machine. A lot of people move on to as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I my first game was the Lord of the Rings one. Do you remember when they had the magazine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I keep on buying Lord of the Rings ones because I just really like the figures.
The first one I saw was, I don't know the official name for it. You know, like what are the giant elephant things called?
Mimikills.
Something?
Giant
Yeah, whatever
elephants.
they are. I remember. Sorry?
Giant elephants.
Yeah, giant elephants.
Yeah, Mimikill.
I remember walking past as a kid, and I was in prime. I would have been like grade 5, 6 probably, I think. I remember walking past the newsagent and just seeing it kind of sitting there off in the distance, this giant, thing from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And this was around the time Two Towers or something was probably out, and I was loving all the movies as a kid. Or maybe
Yeah.
Return of the King was out, maybe, don't know. But I'm loving all the movies at the time. I was watching them all the time. Really into Lord of the Rings. And you walk past a newsagent, you see that, and you go, what's that? So it's like, Mum,
Yeah.
over here, we need to go look at this. And then you find out there's a game, and it's like, buy the magazine, paint, do all this sort of thing. So that was my my jumping on point, was buying that first magazine for Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
And then I found out a bunch of other kids at school were into that. And then a bunch of us got into 40K.
Yeah.
I brought my like first 40K starter pack, which just had Space Marines and
Yep. Yep.
what the fuck are the red aliens called? I can't even fucking remember.
Tyranids.
Tyranids, yeah. It was like
Yeah.
Space Marines versus Tyranids. But what I discovered was, as much as I enjoyed playing it, I suck fucking ass at the painting part.
Yeah.
And
it's definitely an acquired
suck
skill.
at it.
Yeah.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Like, my Space Marines looked like they were... they'd gone through the war before the bell had started, you know? Like, they,
Yeah.
I don't
They
have
were
the
not
hand-eye
looking good.
coordination.
And hand-eye coordination, or like the ability to even...
Patience.
the patience for it. Yeah. Although I remember I would do some funny things, because I'd fuck up like so many different ones, and I'd be like, fuck this. I'd grab the pliers and be like, well, I'm going to cut this one's head off, and then like glue it to this one's like thing. Like he's got a head stuck to his skull. Like he just stomped in this dude's face, and like blood. Like, oh, that's
Yeah.
where I was getting my enjoyment from. So I dived off that. Although I played it like a little bit at school, I was probably only on it for like a year before I'm like, I can't do this because it's not fun. Like the painting's
Yeah.
not fun. I would much prefer just to get the.
I think the hardest thing
painted
too
figures.
for new kids is like trying to convince the parents to buy stuff for them, because it is not fucking cheap. And like when you go to your, because I even remember
$15 paints that are like,
yeah,
fuck,
I even
this
remember
big.
going to my my dad, like we were in there, and you know how kids are like, oh, I really need this one, Dad, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it was like $55 for 10 guys. It's only gotten worse since, because that was like what 12, 13 years ago, no, even longer, almost 20 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Getting old.
Yeah,
Have you ever wanted to try any of this stuff, Ash?
No, not really.
Not really. Not nerdy
Oh.
enough. Fuck you then.
I do. I'd be interested to try that, like the X-wing fighting game.
Yeah.
yeah.
I've got-
They're a good hybrid between board game and
Yeah.
war game, because everything comes painted, and like everything you need is in the box, and each expansion pack you buy gives you all the cards and stuff you need as well.
I've got the starter pack if you want to play it, Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a fuckload of X-wing and Armada stuff.
Whenever we meet up next.
Yeah. I was way more attached to that sort of stuff. Like so there was a huge gap of time before I played any tabletop games like that. But once Guff opened, I obviously, when I was in there for Magic, started checking out other stuff. And the first thing that attracted me was HeroClix.
Yep. I never got into that personally, but that was
No.
pretty big. That was
Yep.
also a Wizards of the Coast one, wasn't it?
Yep, Wizards
Yeah.
of the Coast. So HeroClix uses a bunch of like licensed material. I remember first day walking into the store, seeing this giant fucking Swamp Thing monster. Like, it's probably like 30 centimeters tall. It was a giant figure, and going, what is that? Is that like a statue? And then the dude's like, no, it's part of a game. I'm like, what? A game? Like, and then he's like, pulls it down and shows me. So HeroClix come in random boosters, because
Yep.
that's how it's Wizards of the Coast. That's how they roll. They are random booster type thing, but they're figures that are pre-painted, and there was DC characters, Marvel characters, a bunch of other comic books, all sorts of things. Like anytime a movie came out, like the Batman films, it's like, here's a set for that, here's a set for this Marvel movie, etc., etc., etc. And the game basically worked that they have a dial on their base that would have a starting point when the game begins. Like, here's where you put them, and it would have like attack, defense, movement, speed, something else probably, I can't remember because I haven't played it in ages. And then it's like, if you would get hit, you would move the dial like 2 times, like for 2 damage to that direction. And then some characters got weaker when they took more damage, but then there's like other characters where it would make sense, like a Hulk, for instance. It's like he kind of starts weaker, but as he takes more damage and you turn the dial, his health gets lower, but his attack would get a lot stronger because Hulk gets angrier, and sort of stuff. So that was a lot of fun to play.
Yep.
Really cool. And that's just a lot easier to like buy a bunch of boosters, and you can literally walk straight over to a table and be like, cool, let's play. Don't need to paint shit. Don't need anything.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's go. You can buy maps for it, but you don't really need them. You can just do whatever you want. That's probably the way to go. But if I was trying to tell people to get into games like that, I would be saying like try Hero Clicks or something. Because
Is that still going?
Yep.
Probably. Yeah.
Yep. And as for the to tie it back to the dice thing, the one I think you was talking about was Dice Masters, which I did get heavily
Quite
into
possibly.
when it first came out. I was the guy at my local store who started the Facebook group and tried to get people to play it. Like I was the one who's
Dice Masters. That's definitely it.
That's it. Yeah. So I was the guy who was talking to the manager at the store all the time, being like, "We need more people to play this," because I really, really loved the game. Like I was enjoying it a lot, but there wasn't many people playing it, and I wanted to hold proper tournaments, and I wanted him to get enough people coming into tournaments that we could get sanctioned events, which means they get sent promos and all sorts of things like that. So I'm like, we need more people to play this. And I was constantly pimping it, trying to get more people to play it. And I didn't succeed too well because people were like, why do I want to play a game where all you do is roll fucking dice? Like, I don't understand
I don't know. I found it also a bit complex.
Oh, it's literally a cross between Magic and... It's just which...
Because I only tried to get my Stacey to play it and she wasn't interested. Like, she'd play... I don't know, X-Wing with me a couple of times and she enjoyed that, but getting into this is just too much for her. And for me, really.
It is basically the premise of... And that Star Wars game is basically like Dice Masters where... So the cards have abilities and that sort of stuff written on it.
Yeah.
But then you kind of roll your dice and it's they'll land on a certain variation of the character's attributes and abilities. It's the one side has 1 attack, another side has 0 attack and 2 defense, blah 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 blah, and that's kind of what you get that you have to use for the thing. So it's there's a bit of luck into it, but then there's a bunch of... I remember I would even watch Dice Master tournaments, proper tournaments on Twitch when they would have them on, and people would be explaining why they've got 1 copy of this dice in their deck. It's for the chance, there's a 0.5% chance if I get this, blah, blah, all sorts of real nerdy shit when people get into it, which I kind of love to a degree, but at the same time I'm fuck, this is a whole nother, you're in a whole other end. That's great. The other thing I was looking at talking about board games when I brought I didn't realize this was actually a thing that was out until the other day, because when I got the Star Wars Destiny thing, I was looking through the booklet inside it, a bunch of other products made by us here, Settlers of Catan, whatever the fuck, here's a bunch of stuff. And they had at the front, obviously, because it was Star Wars thing, a bunch of other Star Wars things. I didn't realize they reprinted the Star Wars, role-playing game. They've, remade that. I thought that was cancelled, in the 80s.
What happened was the Wizards of the Coast had their own one. I forget what it was called. And then they lost the license for it. Then Fantasy Flight got all the Star Wars licenses.
Yeah, that's it.
And then,
Fantasy Flight, yeah.
Yeah, and they did another new role-playing game. There's all different versions of it. There's Bounty Hunter version, and then there's, Resistance member version. I forget what they're all called, but there's all different ones.
Yeah, this was a real base. It was the beginner one. It's it comes with 4 pre-made characters and pictures of them. It's they're trying to sell it as this really simple thing to play, and it was only $30 or something like that, which I'm it's pretty cheap considering how much pretty sure beginner thing of D&D costs a lot more.
Tales of Theoden Season 2, Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm going to tell Kira to cancel it, and we're going to do the Star Wars.
We can do a spin-off version.
Oh yeah, I'm going to edit 2 fucking
all
role-playing
the
podcasts.
sound effects are already... You just have to break into Lucas. All I'm going to say is I'd much
prefer to be
Skywalker
fighting
Ranch.
bounty hunters than dragons. That's all I'm going to say.
Because I always wanted to play it, but just like Dungeons & Dragons, it's such a role-playing, pen and paper role-playing games are such a time investment and such a clusterfuck just to try and get all the people together at the one time to do it.
Maybe for a Twitch stream.
Consistently.
Do it once.
That's not a bad idea. If we got it, and we could, we could just do it as a, not like Tales of Theoden, but do it as a, not as consistent thing, but more, casually fun.
Yeah,
I want to play it though. Just putting it out there.
So do I.
I'm intrigued. I like Star Wars. I don't know if you're aware.
Really? It's a shocker.
I want to be a pew 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 and bounty hunters, and whatever else, fighting sabers and people. There's no way that someone can be a Jedi or something and
It'd be just overpowered.
Yeah, that'd be a bit too overpowered. I don't know how I feel about that. Need to look into
I think you
rules.
can. That's why there's different versions of the game.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's a Jedi or a Sith,
Yeah.
and there's like ones where people are
I'd have
just
to do
drowning
more
others.
research, but I know there's different versions of it.
All right. Fair enough. Anyway,
Now, I want to ask you, do either of you drink tea?
I do.
No,
Do you, Ashley?
I used to, like when I was too young to drink coffee.
Oh, so you're a coffee
Oh.
person now.
Yeah.
Do you drink coffee, Dylan?
Yep.
I hate coffee. I can't stand it.
I drink both.
So,
I'm drinking coffee
do you
right
have
now.
any particular way that you prefer to have your tea made? Because I used to drink a lot of tea when I was younger and then fell off it. And then we got this new kettle, I don't know, maybe 6 months back, but it has different temperature settings.
What?
So I've decided
Yeah.
I can enjoy tea more when it's not full 100 degrees boiling.
Yeah.
So I think I set it on 80 degrees or something. And I was reading up on like what the perfect cup of tea was. It was you're meant to let the tea bag sit in there for 2 minutes and put a certain amount of milk in and then let it rest for 6 minutes to the optimal temperature and stuff like that. But I was just wondering, do either you have like particular ways you like it made?
Did
Isn't
you have
it
a way
supposed to
as
be
a kid?
boiling water for tea? Otherwise, it doesn't seep properly or whatever.
No, I prefer it like that.
I don't know.
Sue me.
You like it not done properly. I guess.
Shut up, you don't even drink tea, Ashley.
Yeah.
I boil the jug properly, or all the way until it clicks off. I will then put the tea bag in there, and I will leave it for about 2 minutes, like not moving it, just like letting it
Yeah.
sit in there and roll around, do its thing. Then, because I like it strong flavored, and you want to get the flavor out of this thing, or you're not.
Yeah.
Like, what's the fucking point? Then I make sure that like when I pick it up, I like push it against the side, and
Yeah,
like squeeze.
I do
it.
that too, but I read that's a massive no-no. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Well, who cares? Sue me.
Yeah.
There. Push it against
Come
the
at us,
side. to
Britain.
get- Come on, yeah. Push it against the side, and then like say if it's a string bag, I
Yeah.
suppose it's like when you roll the string around the teaspoon,
Yeah.
and then pull it tight again
Yeah.
to like get the last of it out,
Yeah.
and then that's the go-to. But whenever I watch people make tea, and they just like they pour the water in the tea bag in there, and then they're just like you drip it up down like 3 times or whatever,
Yeah.
and then chuck the tea bag across. I'm like.
You may as well just be having a cup of hot water.
Yeah, have a cup of hot water with a fucking let me spit in it or something for a bit of flavor. Like, what's the fucking point of that?
Is there any
Useless.
particular flavor of tea that you prefer?
Like brand?
Yeah.
Not really. There was a legit stage where I was obsessed with having Dilmah, and I couldn't understand if it was because when I was younger that the ad was on TV so much, or because my name's Dylan and I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, it's meant to me. It could have been a combination of all, but there was a fucking ad for that thing on TV all the time for Dilmah.
Pretty much I exclusively drink Billy tea. I think it's because I grew up and my nan used to have it all the time and then just growing up with it like that. Do you have sugar and milk in yours?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have 2 sachets of equal because diabetic and all that shit, but like there's people that go, if you put sugar in it, you're fucking ruining it, or if you put milk in it, you're ruining it. And stuff
Well, there's like
that.
variations. It's like depends. Like if you're having normal tea, like I put sugar in it. I've had other teas where it's like don't put sugar in it because
Yeah.
it's not going to need it depending on what it is.
If it's flavored
There's all
tea.
sorts of flavored tea. I mean, have you gone to like a T2 shop or anything like that?
I think my mum got like one of those boxes of like all the different variations of green teas and lemon, and I've seen Scott Pilgrim when she quotes her.
Do you know what these are, Nick?
What?
These stores? T2.
Oh, Tito, yeah, they got one at a shopping centre nearby.
Have you been in it?
I have. Stacey have bought a couple of things from there, but I was just about to say, like, I think I need to branch out on my tea drinking because all I drink is great Billy tea, and like I haven't really tried many others other than like the general English breakfast or Irish breakfast or whatever.
Because they've got heaps. And then the other thing, of course, is I was about to say, like, do you drink iced tea? Because they have like, if you
I
go
don't
in there,
drink
they'll
iced tea. No.
Okay, because they just have like so much iced tea on for like that you can try in there and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Do you never get onto anything like Lipton's peach or anything like that? Never liked
no,
it.
no. It's too. I don't know. It's just the idea of cold tea and just doesn't sit well with me.
How about coffees? Did you
No, I
like
hate
iced
coffee.
coffees or anything
Just can't stand coffee
at all? Just
ever.
the taste of coffee.
In anything, yeah. I just hate the taste of it.
That's why you need to nap all the time.
Yeah, no caffeine.
Apparently, there's more caffeine in tea than coffee anyway.
Really?
Lies.
So I read.
Don't know
Different
how I
type of
feel about
caffeine.
that. Yeah. Caffeine to put you to sleep. What do you drink, Ash?
Just coffee.
Yeah, but what?
I know.
Blend 43, Nescafe.
What?
What do you buy? Like what
the
store do you
brand?
go
I
to?
just
Like
get
what do you get?
Robert Tim's, I think it's called.
Okay,
Yeah.
what if you get in the coffee in town, what do you
Oh,
get?
just get a latte. I'm very basic.
Okay.
Oh, you
Yeah, that's
fucking
right.
hipster.
Yeah. I don't even ask for
Tall
low fat
black.
milk. I just say,
Sure.
give me a latte.
What's your store? What's your store? What's your go-to?
I liked Gloria Jean's, but they're harder to find now. So in the city,
right.
I went to a Starbucks the other day. So just
I don't have
whatever.
Starbucks. I go to Gloria Jeans. That's
Yeah.
where my go-to is. $5.50 though. Not often. Too fucking expensive. But I did go there yesterday. That was all right though. Going there. But I'm also a soy drinker. You know?
Yeah,
Lactose intolerant.
that's like
thing.
$5-6 to it.
Yeah, that's like $1 billion to everything. Like I remember, like my local Subway it added a coffee machine up here the other week, and I was like, okay, yeah, all right, I'll try it, see if it's shit coffee or not. And it's like looking at the board, it's like 50 cents for soy milk. I'm like, fuck off! Like, why is it that much? Like 50 cents?
Because
Outrageous.
it's harder to milk a soybean than a cow.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's correct at all.
they have to grow a soy bean, and they can only use it once.
Exactly.
Only milk it once.
Do you know how much milk you can get out of one cow as opposed to one soybean?
How about soy cows?
Whoa! Just blew my mind.
Is soy
It's
the,
the
only
future
like
of milk.
is soy the only dairy alternative that you drink? Have you like tried almond milk and or
Oh, I've
coconut
tried
milk
it.
and all that?
Yeah,
Not a fan?
I'm not a fan. I'd much prefer just to have soy.
Yeah.
It's like, but having said that, of course, when I first tried soy and anything, it's like it's tasted bad.
Yeah.
To overcome it. So when I got back from my my trip the other day, I like looked in the fridge and it was just like, and the cupboard, and there's all these things of fucking soy milk. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? My mum's like, oh, me and your dad have decided we've switched. We're just going to drink soy milk now. I'm like, I was like, why? And they're like, oh, it's just easier.
Just show support.
Yeah, it's just easier. And she said because half the time, because I'll open one and I'm the
Yeah.
only person drinking it, so I'll waste like half of it because I won't use it all up. Because it's like you have to use it all up within 4 days of opening it,
Yep.
and I just won't use it up within 4 days of opening. So now, just
Now it's getting used.
putting my soy SJW agenda on my family. You know, like that's how.
Is that an SJW thing?
No,
It's a vegan thing.
it's a vegan thing.
They're
I
even
feel
worse.
Yeah, but the thing is, say whenever I go to restaurants or out or anywhere, I have to basically seem like a vegan horrible person because it's
Yeah.
like, does that have milk or property? And the person looks, like when when we went when me and Shree in Brisbane went and watched Star Wars. Afterwards, we went out to a dumpling place. Right,
Yeah.
we're at the front. We're at the front, and it's like, hey, does this stuff have milk in it? Egg? No. Does it have milk in it? That's all we need to know. Like, are your products made with milk? Or it might have egg. No. I'm not fucking vegan. Like, I'm just asking if it has milk. It's not a fucking vegan thing. I'll check if it has egg and milk. No. Just ask if it has fucking milk in it. Like, is it that hard? Hopeless.
You should have said milk, not egg.
I didn't mention egg once. That's the funny thing because I said it and he just says egg. I'm like, no one even mentioned.
Who's allergic to eggs?
It's a vegan
Vegans.
thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you ask a place and you say that you want to make sure that something has no milk in it, people just assume you're talking vegan.
You're vegan, yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
like
should have
no.
said, I'm lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
If I have milk, your bathroom's gonna look terrible.
You wouldn't believe the amount of people that don't understand or look at you like that word doesn't exist. Lactose. What?
Really?
Like, what is it? No milk. Oh, okay. So does that mean what?
what's
Like,
wrong with you?
Yeah, it's like a weird thing. And then people act all weird and stuff. It's like if you went up to Cal like no nuts, people would be like, all right, no nuts. Yeah, we don't want you to die here.
Yeah.
But I could be like, I could die too. You know, like
If you ingest enough,
We don't care about you.
if you lose enough fluids afterwards,
I just want people to take my fucking thing seriously. Why? Can we please get to a stage where people with lactose problems are taken serious. It's not a joke, okay?
It
Just
is.
'cause-
It's pretty funny.
Just because it's about pooping, major poops, doesn't make it a serious joke, you know? The one time someone fucks me over in a place and they'll be like, oh, sorry, yeah, we didn't understand. Like, I thought you said eggs, not milk. I'll be like, yeah, well, guess who's destroying your fucking toilet, dickhead? Take this. Fuck you. All right, on that note. Thank you for joining us for episode 66 of Pleasure Explosion this week. It's been speaking of explosions, segue, and the show. Good one. I missed it. Fuck. Where can people follow you, Ash?
You can follow me on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY. It's a thing.
Where can people follow you, Nicholas?
I'm actually going to give you my proper Twitter because I want to hear your tea recommendations at Lord and Prior, PRIOR.
Are we going to get Nick's mini tea reviews?
Unlikely.
Maybe. You never know.
Depends how
Nick
special these teas are.
Shout out also to your review for what the fuck is that band called?
Lordy.
Lordy.
Yeah.
Which I love that. I remember like when they like because I got into them from
Were
like
they in Eurovision or something?
yeah,
Yeah.
from
They're dressed up
Eurovision.
with all the stuff.
Yeah. It's like so many people got into them from Eurovision, so I'm not afraid to say I jumped on that bandwagon because Hard Rock Hallelujah,
So did I, yeah.
what a banger. But yeah, I was like, when I read your mini review of the morning, I was like, this is fucking intriguing. Like 1.5. Nick's like saying, even Nick's complaining that the lyrics are too far overboard.
Yeah.
Like, how bad can they be? And I like went and looked them up. I'm like, oh dear. oh dear.
I
Very
don't know how much
so.
of the original band is still left. So I wonder if it's like changed completely.
It's probably all run by some corporation.
Seems like a call for attention is what it seemed to
it's
me.
bad. It's really, really bad.
It's like we're going to be really, really off the walls to try and get like news outlets to write stories about how we're like, you know, blah, 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 we're really intense and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, sorry. That's Nick's Twitter. You can follow my Twitter where I didn't tweet about Lordy at Vivaladil, Vivaladil. You can follow the Explosion Network on Twitter at Explosion Pod. You can head over to explosionnetwork.com for all our other programming and great such content. Don't forget to give the show any amount of stars between 2 to 4 this week would be appreciated. Thank you. Until next week, hope you have a lovely week. Bye-bye.
Hello, it's Kieran here from the Explosion Network, and this be your ad read from May 2018. If you're a fan of top 10 lists, then boy oh boy do we have a show for you that does just as well as BuzzFeed, WatchMojo, IGN, or anywhere bloody else to be perfectly honest, but in about half the time. Top 5 with Nick is currently airing in its first season, and the season's theme is video games. We love video games here at the Explosion Network. Join Nick and 2 guests every fortnight as they break down topics like launch games, gaming peripherals, and first-person shooters. Explosion Network's bulletin board. Older on Explosion is back this month. Join Dylan and guests for 3 episodes from May 11th in lead up to Solo. Oh, it's coming! It's so close! If you're watching Westworld Season 2 at the moment, make sure you follow us over at twitch.tv/Explosion Network for Bevanworld. Our weekly recap and discussion about Westworld. Find it all on our Twitch channel, and once again, twitch.tv/Explosion Network, or over at our YouTube, youtube.com/Explosion Network. Have a fantastic day.
Shows how much of an overachiever you are.
You would do that, wouldn't you? No, you wouldn't.